Hello and welcome to r/AskReddit by Reddit Reader. Today's question is, cops of Reddit, what is the most suspicious thing you've ever caught somebody doing for a totally legitimate reason? Patrolling a military housing neighborhood, I had noticed a suspicious van parked around the area over the past few nights, always in a different spot, but I could never catch it coming or going. So around the fifth night of this, I hide my car and wait. Sure enough, the van rolls through. I waited a few minutes before following. Turned the corner and light up three guys rummaging through all the trash cans left on the street. Turns out, they were part of SID. Think NCIS, the show, but army version. They suspected someone in the area was cooking meth, and were going through that garbage cans to find discarded ingredients. I only found this out after getting chewed out after they called my supervisors. I still don't feel bad. No one told me. So, you got chewed out for being effective. Once in the early 2000s, my wife and I were together in the corner of an empty hotel parking lot. Cops pulled up and said the hotel manager reported us as suspicious. We were like, we're just stealing the hotel's wireless internet. He looks in and sees us both with laptops on our laps and a miniature printer on the dashboard. The cop just laughed and said never mind. Found a guy parked behind a middle school around 5:30 am on a weekday morning during the school's winter break, so no one should be there. He didn't have much of an excuse as to why he was there, but nothing else was out of place and he wasn't wanted. It wasn't until he drove away and I looked around where his car was parked and I found out what he was doing. He had taken a massive dump that was just sitting on top of the snow still steaming. Made me laugh so hard all I could do was kick snow over it and go 10-8. Available for calls. I was the only one on the block that didn't come out of the house after a neighbor was shot with an AK-47 at about 4:45 am. So my house was suspicious. The cops came over and banged on the door. They thought it was me. I slept through the whole thing. Took the cops quite a while to wake me up. I had no alibi. My roommate slept through it too. Kinda weird. The first one that comes to mind for me. Late at night, saw a dude hauling copper pipe out of a local grocery store after it closed down. Copper theft at the time was super common, so I thought I had a burglary in progress. I stop out, get ready for an easy arrest, ask him what he's doing. He says he was hired to clean the place out. Asked why he's taking the copper. Owner told him that his payment was the copper piping. Since it wasn't going to be a grocery store after, they didn't need it. I didn't buy it for a minute. Bullshit detector was screaming at this point. So I find the owner in our records. Call him. And sure as shit, dude was hired to clean the place out and was paid in copper pipe. That was their agreement. But then I asked him why he was out at 2 am. Since it was super suspicious. Since the place closed down, there was no AC. As it was the middle of summer, 2 am was the best way to do it and keep cool. I was just starting on the street around the time Pokemon Go was taking off. So many contacts in the middle of the night that were just people trying to catch Pokemon. Me. Mom, I noticed you're driving in circles around this closed business at 3 am person. Yeah, there's a herd of Charmanders here and it's too busy during the day, Mio. Thanks for letting me know. Pulls out phone and opens Go. This happened to us once. We went to a park after hours for a raid and saw a cruiser pull up. We were all nervous when the window came down. So we said hello and that we were just there for pogo. The cop smiled and said me too, plus he was part of the K9 unit and introduced us to his dog. Overall great raid experience. Man, the world seemed like it was going to be okay during those first few weeks of Pokemon Go. I'm the guy who was doing something suspicious, but it kinda fits here. When I used to work at a grocery store, I would get off sometime between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. And I also preferred to ride my bike most of the year to save on gas. Since work was close to my house and there were few cars out, I never really bothered with lights. Already suspicious, I know. Right around Thanksgiving we would get in these massive stalks of Brussels sprouts, which if you have never seen one, they look like something you might find growing on an alien planet. A solid 3 feet of little bulbs at the end of spikes basically. They were super cheap, so I couldn't pass up such a deal. But of course the only way for me to transport it home at night was to ride with the stalk sticking a foot out of my backpack. I have no idea what the cops thought it was when they pulled me over. Marijuana? A weapon? They were doing their deal where one talks to me and the other checks me out from behind when the one behind me busted out laughing. Are those Brussels sprouts? They let me go a minute later. I'm in a local saltwater aquarium club. It has always been a joke that the cops have come to quite a few of our houses when they see grow light in the basement. For corals. The cops usually check electric records and show we all have extremely high electricity usage and thus can usually get a warrant to search the place. It's never happened to me but has happened to people I know. Cops usually get a good laugh out of it and are amazed to see the coral growing systems people run. Conclusion: if you wanna grow weed in the basement, grow coral upstairs. Police officer here. It was just after midnight and we got a call of a suspicious person looking into a home. We respond code 2, lights, no sirens, and switch off the lights before we get close to mask our approach. As we pull up to the house, we see no signs of anyone at the front of the house. So we walk around the rear and bam, guy with a crowbar wrenching on the back door. I yell, police. Drop the crowbar. Dude starts screaming and nearly crying because we scared him so bad. Turns out he went to Tim Hortons to get a coffee as him and the wife had a few drinks and he forgot his keys and cell phone in the house. She was so drunk she forgot he left and locked the doors like she does every night. Poor bastard tried to wake his wife up and she was passed out and didn't hear him. He grabbed a crowbar from his shed to try to pop the locking mechanism out and we caught him. We managed to get a hold of her by calling her on my cell. When she answered the door, she admitted to accidentally locking him out and gave us the exact same sequence of events. I honestly wish we had body cams so we could replay the poor bastard's face and high-pitched scream. Late note. Wow, my poor inbox. So to address a few things. Our service does not have tasers. We train constantly in advanced hand-to-hand tactics. We are getting tasers soon though. Our hands were on our guns. But after yelling the challenge and hearing him scream and drop the crowbar, we de-escalated the situation completely. When you hear a door being wrenched on, you know there may be an improvised weapon involved. Hence, for officer safety, we were ready should he charge us. I have a relevant one that happened to a friend of a friend. Dude had 2 huskies and while he was at work they got in a fight and the one killed the other one. His dogs had loved the dog park, so he figured he would bury it in the nearby woods. Parks his truck and goes into the trees with a big duck in bag and a shovel. Comes out a while later to a bunch of cops. Turns out there was a kid missing in the area at the time and people at the park had called the cops on him. They made him go back into the woods and dig up the dead dog and show them. Damn, that's tough. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Reddit content.